For this week's headlines, ConocoPhillips selling excess gas to a Bitcoin miner in North Dakota. Why is this a potential solution to the Bitcoin mining problem? Fraudsters are using bots to drain cryptocurrency accounts. How is it done and how to avoid becoming a victim? Stay tuned for the answers. Warren Buffett invests $1 billion in Bitcoin-friendly neobank, dumps Visa and MasterCard stocks. Is Warren Buffett softening his stance on crypto? UAE to issue crypto licenses in a bid to become the industry hub. What will their regulations look like, I wonder? Bitcoin billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried says a crypto autumn may be here. His take on the key driver for price swings is coming up next. G'day everybody and welcome to another week of This Week in Crypto, where I give you the cryptocurrency news that I think is relatively important for the week that has been. As you can see, I'm in my Scott Morrison in Hawaii attire because I'm up in the town of 1770, or towns, and Agnes Water, because this was the first town in Australia where we were able to accept Bitcoin for pretty much any form of payment, and it's going to slow down. So I'm here to see if we can help out with that process. Getting to the news. ConocoPhillips selling excess gas to a Bitcoin miner in North Dakota. Now, of course, there has been a lot of conversation last year in 2021, if you recall, Tesla having bought Bitcoin and then subsequently having said, oh no, we can't accept Bitcoin because of the power consumption. Tell us another one there, Elon, you good man. Well, here we have obviously a very good outcome that we are seeing excess gas. So this is gas that can't be linked back to, oh, it's bad because it's fossil fuels and nothing else uses fossil fuels. It's just Bitcoin that's bad. Everything else is fine. Excess gas means it wasn't going to be used anyway. So I see this as a very, very good thing, especially for that of Bitcoin, considering we have just seen a significant drop in the price of Bitcoin, down 7.5% or thereabouts in yesterday's session, now linking up with a weekly candle to the downside, which means we have a weekly downtrend and a daily downtrend. Ugh, frowny faces for your portfolio. 2 thumbs up if you're a trader, because we're looking for shorts. Anyway, the oil major is aiming to reach zero routine flaring by 2025, and flaring is when they burn off the excess gas. Well, instead of that going into literally the air, it's now going into mining Bitcoin. A very, very strong, good, forward-thinking initiative here by ConocoPhillips. ConocoPhillips has one Bitcoin pilot project currently operating in the Bakken, where gas that would otherwise have been flared is routed to a Bitcoin processor owned and managed by a third party. A ConocoPhillips spokesman told CoinDesk in an emailed statement. That is fantastic news to hear, and hopefully we start to see other oil and gas companies plugging into something very, very similar, therefore giving us more Bitcoin mining power, less cost, and less greenhouse emissions to go with it, because we ain't burning it no more through a flame. Every oil and gas company in 5 to 10 years will have some exposure to mining Bitcoin, Ryan Leachman, a founding party of JAI, told CoinDesk in November, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is reason for celebration. In 2019, ConocoPhillips was among the founding members of the OOC Oil and Gas Blockchain Consortium, a group of energy companies looking to establish key blockchain standards, frameworks, and capabilities within the industry. If I think that there needs to be 2 thumbs up for one top bloke, it's for this bloke here, it's for these people involved. I think it's a very positive initiative. Again, helping to, decode the silly thoughts that Bitcoin mining is always bad, because guess what? When it comes to blockchain, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency, we tend to be the most forward-thinking people on the planet. So well done. A positive little beauty there. Crypto fraudsters, we have to have one each week by the look of it. It continues to happen. And we are over here at CNBC. Fraudsters are using bots to drain cryptocurrency accounts in what seems to be a continuation of last week's event, where we talked about the MetaMask issues that were happening and how to stay safe from that. We now find that fraudsters are selling bots on Telegram that are designed to trick investors into divulging their 2-factor authentication, leading to accounts being wiped out. Now, obviously, the first thing to state would be at this point, do not give your 2FA out. If anyone's asking for your private key, do not give it out. If anyone's asking anything about any of your accounts or login details, run a country mile. Then run back and turn off your laptop, then run another mile, and then have some water. Dr. Anders Apgar, a Coinbase customer, said his account had a balance of more than $100,000 in crypto when it was hijacked during a robocall. That is a new thing for me, a robocall. What is a robocall? I have zero idea, but it's a pretty bloody cool name because RoboCop is a pretty bloody cool movie. He was out for dinner last month with his family and his phone would not stop buzzing. It looked like a robocall. Now I get it, those random calls. I get them all the time. So he tried to ignore it, but the calls would not stop, and his wife's phone also started to ring. When she picks up, the banner came across a notification that says, your account is in jeopardy. This is how they tend to do it. They threaten, they say, if you don't do this, this is what the outcome will be, which in fact, it's the opposite, because if you do what they ask, the outcome will be exactly what they said that they were going to protect you from. It is a nightmare scenario for most crypto enthusiasts, and this is another reason why you should be storing your crypto assets in a hardware storage wallet. Now, he said he cannot remember if he manually entered his two-factor authentication code or if it came up automatically on his screen. What happened in that moment led to his account being locked in less than 2 minutes. As Apgar has not regained access, he said he assumes the fraudsters stole most, if not all, of the crypto, but he can't be sure. Again, another example of keeping safe, street-wise, crypto-wise, digitally-wise, and keeping yourself safe from harm. In what can only be described as some massive news and a bit of mud on the old face of the dinosaur that is Warren Buffett, a fantastic dinosaur, by the way, a really, really cool dinosaur, but an old dinosaur nevertheless, we see that Warren Buffett invests $1 billion in Bitcoin-friendly neobank and dumps his Visa and MasterCard stocks. Now, what on earth would the Oracle of Omaha be doing in this case? What may have he realized? Well, we know when it comes to digital assets that one of the biggest areas of growth in this space and most widely used user cases for day-to-day life is in the payment space. Just the same as we would use our Visa or MasterCards to tap, pay, or put in your PIN code. We are seeing very efficient, fast ways for us to use our crypto wallets to pay for items, goods, food, services. As we see Crypto.com type companies, Moby, these sorts of companies go on the rise and on a rampage. I'm sure Mr. Buffett has seen the writing on the wall, and now he has put a large wedge, well, not by his standards, into neobank. Now, if you recall, a little while ago, a few years back, Bitcoin was regarded as rat poison by the one and only Oracle of Omaha. I just lost my brain there for a minute. Here's the thing though, he's flipped on that. Buffett, the so-called Oracle of Omaha, is popular for his cautious approach to investing, particularly in the market's hottest sectors such as fintech. The veteran investor had also downplayed emerging decentralized finance solutions like Bitcoin, ridiculing as an asset that does not create anything. But Berkshire's new stake in Nubank shows that Buffett has been softening up to fintech lately. In detail, the firm had invested $500 million in the startup in 2021, back in July. Its returns on the said investment amounted to $150 million by December of 2021. That's a pretty bloody good return. Now, of course, that was after the listing went forward. What this is going to do is help people to see, okay, if Buffett says red light, lots of people say red light with him, without any question of doubt. When he says green light, people will follow green light with Mr. Buffett. Don't forget that Berkshire Hathaway is a very large managed fund by Mr. Buffett himself as well as all of his crew. This is no insignificant feat for Bitcoin. Okay, in detail, EasyVest, a trading platform that Nubank acquired in September 2020, has been actively offering a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, an ETF, since June of 2021. Dubbed QBTC11, sounds like a strain of something bad, but it's not. The ETF is backed by QR Asset Management and is listed on the B3 Stock Exchange, the second oldest bourse in Brazil. So we can see what Nubank are doing here. They are, as you see in the name, a new bank. Very clever, that one, wasn't it? And what they're doing is they are pushing forward with expansion into digital assets and the use case of said assets. So it's really important for us to understand that this is a significant item, not just because it is Warren Buffett, but it's also giving people such as Mr. Buffett options to have exposure through traditional asset classes that they are familiar with, i.e. listed companies, to get access into the digital space, whether that be directly Bitcoin related or whether that be just on the expansion of what is blockchain technology, and it's not going away anywhere. Again, a very good positive there. CoinDesk. Now this one I see as being absolutely bahooge. I don't know what that means, but I had to put a B in front of huge because it slipped out of my mouth. The UAE, the United Arab Emirates, our buddies, the future of everything over there in the UAE. Some questionable stuff goes on there too. They're issuing crypto licenses in a bid to become the industry hub. And I tell you what, when it comes to hubs, I tell you who made a hub pretty bloody well. Dubai didn't do a bad effort, did they? From absolute deserts with one Toyota building on that street to an absolute metropolis, a business mecca, and very nice tax options too, I might add. Perhaps that's why people add these two together and see what you come up with. But for the UAE to be now forwardly pushing to open the crypto hub of the UAE to make it a global powerhouse is huge because they don't do things in halves. And second to that, it's not out of some small little backwater country that nobody really knows about and therefore doesn't take too seriously. What we're seeing here is a country, a nation state that has come forward and they're saying, hey, we're going to have a crack at this, but they're big. They have proven they can do it in the past through the creation of what they have already, and it's a massive, massive step in the right direction for the space. Preparing to issue federal licenses for virtual assets, okay? Now what this is going to do, hopefully in their view, is bring more business over there. They have a lot of fintech already. They are now about to take on a lot more crypto-related projects. Now I've been to Dubai specifically for crypto, and over there, there's a lot going on. They are very open to it. They're looking to have smart cities. They're having a huge amount in there. Now, here's something important. Having considered the approaches of the US, the UK and Singapore, the UAE, well, that came out weird, will take a hybrid approach. The SCA and Central Bank will be responsible for regulation, with regional financial centres determining their day-to-day procedures on licences, according to Bloomberg. The government also wants to create a favourable environment for crypto mining. That is very, very good, as I said, for many, many different reasons. I'm going to be watching this space very, very closely to see the progress that the UAE is making, because I can be sure of one thing. When they do something, they give it a bloody good shot. Well done, the UAE. On to the big dog, Mr. Sam BF, the man with the golden mop. I can't really diss him on his mop, can I? Bitcoin billionaire Sam F says a crypto autumn may be here, and that Fed policy will keep driving price swings. And what an apt time to discuss this particular item. Why? Because, well, of course, we've seen Bitcoin and the major top 10 and across the board falling extraordinarily hard over the last 24 hours. What Sam is saying is that we might not go into a winter. That may end up just being an autumn, which of course is not as brutal, not as cold, not as horrific, but it's still autumn. We know winter's coming. Perhaps we can go from autumn back to spring really quick, Sam. Just an idea. He told Insider there's certainly been a slowdown, but there's still plenty of excitement around cryptocurrencies. I completely agree with that sentiment. Now, the real big thing to take on board here is that he didn't say winter. The phrase the crypto winter has been a phrase that we unfortunately had to deal with all the way through sort of 18-19 until we saw the most recent boost pushing up through 2020 into 2021. It's not something that crypto enthusiasts like myself like to be hearing. It is a term of pain. However, what Sam has done very smartly, very PR savvy, Mr. Sam, you are. He said, maybe it's an autumn. So therefore, people don't freak out too much, because people like to hear what comes out of the lips of men and women that are of the powerhouse size that Sam is. Now, as we go through this article, he says, I don't think it's really a winter. We're still seeing a lot of activity in this space and a lot of excitement. So what does that mean to us investors and traders out there? Well, it might mean, first of all, hopefully you took advice through going through the Trader Cobb course and everything I've been saying for a long time when markets were up, which is don't forget to take your bloody profits. Keep some on the sidelines. Keep yourself cool, calm and collected so you don't freak out. Second, if we are to make investments, we have to be even more strict, even more open to what could occur on the negative side. Now, all that requires is for us to be a little bit more diligent in our risk management, our sector exposure, and how much money we have out there in the market at any given time. As a trader, however, it doesn't make too much of a difference because if the market goes up, we get trends, right? If the market goes down, we get trends. And guess what I do? I trade trends. The strategies that I teach and employ for over 18 years, is trend related. If the market goes sideways, it's going to be a bit boring. But you'll be sure to see there will be a lot of volatility over the coming weeks, as we've just seen Bitcoin have a strong dive. So ladies and gentlemen, if you did like this content, if you do like this content, please do like, share, subscribe, please. Share it with your buddies, share what we do. We don't have a massive audience. I want to see it grow. I am passionate about this space. I do put a lot of free stuff out there. All I ask in return is for you to perhaps return the favour by sharing this on. Of course, you can get free information and more about the trading side of things by going to tradercobb.com. You guys have a fantastic day. I love you to death. Enjoy your weekend and keep an eye on the markets. Thank you very much for your time. Bye for now.